Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolve News. Thanks for joining me. There's more bad news for EV startup Fisker, news which could lead to a new EV deal for those willing to buy an Ocean EV. After Fisker confirmed a potential deal with an anonymous major automaker, believed by many to be Nissan, fell through, its stock took a tumble this week, causing the New York Stock Exchange to halt trading of Fisker shares, ultimately delisting Fisker completely. Several investors in the firm are now talking publicly about when, rather than if, the firm will declare bankruptcy, and toward the middle of the week, in an attempt to raise extra funds, Fisker announced its Ocean EV was getting a massive price cut in order to sell inventory. The entry-level Ocean Sport is now available for $25,000 for those willing to take a risk on the company's future. Ford has officially begun sales of the Explorer EV in Europe. Built on Volkswagen's MEB platform, the start of sales of the Explorer EV was delayed from the end of last year, but the delay has caused some important changes in specs. There's now a new 77 kilowatt-hour battery pack with up to 374 miles, 600 kilometers on the European test cycle, as well as a more powerful all-wheel drive version with 79 kilowatt-hour battery pack. Ford plans a more affordable model with a 52 kilowatt-hour battery pack option soon. The delayed launch coincided with the return of Explorer Lexie Alford, who has just driven around the world in a pre-production Explorer EV, to claim what Ford says is the first circumnavigation of the globe in an EV. It's a phenomenal achievement, although we should note that this is not the first round-the-world EV trip that we are aware of. A new report from the European Commission yet again cast doubt on the notion that plug-in hybrids are good for the planet this week. Taking into account plug-in hybrid use across the EU, the study showed that plug-in hybrid emissions do depend greatly on where vehicles are in the EU, but taking into account averages, it showed that both petrol and diesel plug-in hybrids are responsible for about 3.5 times their WLTP quoted emission figures in the real world, with diesel plug-in hybrids emitting almost as many tailpipe emissions as the WLTP test cycles for a non-plug-in diesel vehicle. Given that many major automakers are pushing back their EV plans to focus on plug-in hybrids as a green alternative, this study should give cause for concern. While Tesla's full self-driving feature is still officially in beta test phase, Tesla CEO Elon Musk issued some new instructions to Tesla sales staff this week regarding the feature. First, Musk mandated that all Tesla sales staff install and demo full self-driving beta on every new Tesla being delivered in North America, something which may lead to more customer sales, but which we should also note will also increase the workload for Tesla's sales staff. Stating in a company email that he wants customers to realize, quote, how well supervised FSD actually works, end quote, Musk also confirmed later in the week that Tesla was now going to offer a full month of complimentary FSD Beta access to every Tesla capable of operating in the mode. FSD subscription after this is nearly $200 a month. The People's Republic of China has formally filed a complaint with the World Trade Organization against the US over the White House's Inflation Reduction Act. As part of the IRA, the US federal government put into place a new electric vehicle incentive scheme that prioritizes domestic-made EV and battery packs over imported ones. And that, says the Chinese Ministry of Commerce, is discriminatory. While automakers from other countries have also expressed expressed frustration about the IRA and federal tax credit program. It's worth noting that China appears to be the first to take its grievances to the WTO in this manner. China says the US is ignoring WTO rules and urges it to change its policies. That said, it is also worth noting that the EU recently found China guilty of unfairly subsidizing Chinese-made EVs to undercut European-made EVs. Last week, we shared the news that Volkswagen seems open at least to the idea of bringing its ID.2-based Volkswagen ID GTI to North America, and now the firm has confirmed the Volkswagen ID.7 is heading stateside too. According to the company, the ID.7 will be offered in the US, and we can assume Canada as well, with Pro S and Pro S Plus trim variants with rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options. Due to go on sale as a 2025 model, we don't have official pricing for any North American ID.7s yet, but as Electrek noted this week, the ID.7 will be made in Germany for North American customers, so it's unlikely, at launch at least, that the vehicle will attract federal tax credits. When we know more about launch pricing and ordering, we will share. Chinese automaker NIO, and thanks to those of you who corrected my pronunciation of the name, has begun production of what's going to be the world's fastest charging EV. The NIO ET9, which we first saw late last year, started series production on Wednesday this week, complete with its 900-volt electrical drive system and an onboard battery pack that can accept fast charging rates at 925 volts DC at current levels of 765 amps, or about 600 kilowatts. When paired with a suitable charger, NIO claims the ET9 can add more than 150 miles, 255 kilometers of range in 5 minutes under optimal conditions. While that's likely going to be measured using the Chinese cycle testing, and real-world range is likely to be near about 70% of that, it is still incredibly quick. Polestar will officially debut its Polestar 4 in the US this weekend at the 2024 New York Auto Show, and as such has confirmed pricing and delivery plans for the same. Starting at $54,900 for the long-range rear-wheel drive variant and $62,900 for the long-range dual motor with pilot pack, Polestar says it will open up the order books in the US and Canada in late April for Polestar 4, with deliveries due to start in the fourth quarter of this year. Polestar is confident the SUV coupe will be popular in North America thanks to its onboard tech, its 200 kilowatt DC charging, and up to 300-mile, 482 kilometers of range. It's sized between the Polestar 2 and Polestar 3. While many automakers have been dialing back their electrification plans, the Hyundai Motor Group, which includes Hyundai, Kia and Genesis sub-brands, has been doubling down. This week, the Motor Group went further, committing to investing 68 trillion won, about $50 billion, to help it prepare for a new, cleaner future across its brands. While some of that investment will focus on next-generation mobility projects like aviation, software-defined vehicles, autonomous driving and robotics, a sizable amount of the investment will go towards expanding the group's EV portfolio. I should note, however, that I used a translation tool to read the Korean press release, which also, via the translation, claimed that it would reuse 13,000 elderly people, so something may, I hope, have been lost in translation. From companies pushing into EV projects to ones backing off now, with some bad news from both Stellantis and Ford. On Tuesday, Stellantis announced that it had reached a voluntary deal with unions to cut at least 2,500 staff from its facilities in Italy, including around 300 staff at the production facility where the Fiat 500e is currently made. The layoffs will be voluntary in nature, with those opting to leave being given, quote, financial incentives, end quote, to help them on their way. This week, Ford also confirmed that it will be cutting the number of its staff at the Rouge production facility, where it makes the Ford F-150 Lightning on April 1st. Only 1/3 of its current workforce is expected to retain their positions following that. Blaming a lower than expected demand, Ford is turning its attention to more affordable global electric vehicle models. Our short shorts are coming in a second, but first a word from a long-time sponsor of this channel, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program or get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our own solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will get a small referral fee, so you will be helping us too. And as someone whose local utility put rates up by 18% at the start of this year, I'm very glad indeed I have solar. So won't you join me? And now it's time for short shorts. Lucid Motors has received a new cash injection worth $1 billion from the Saudi Public Investment Fund, or PIF for short. The deal comes in the form of a purchase of $1 billion of convertible preferred stock, which Lucid created for the purpose. Nissan has announced a new wide-ranging business plan that lays out its goals for the remainder of this decade. It includes the goal of introducing 16 new electrified models, but also includes refreshing 60% of its ICE vehicles by 2026. UK insurance companies are reportedly pushing up the premiums of Chinese-made electric vehicles imported to the country, caused by a dearth in replacement parts, poor after-sales service, and a lack of cooperation between Chinese automakers and the insurance firms. Tesla and CATL are working together on developing new battery chemistries designed to improve fast charging rates of EV packs. The news comes courtesy of CATL's CEO, who also said the firm is supplying production machinery to Tesla's Gigafactory in Nevada. It may have only just revealed its refreshed Taycan EV and Macan EV, but Porsche is already working hard on final testing of its upcoming Porsche Boxster EV. According to spy videos captured this week, the luxury sports car looks almost ready for an official reveal. Ree Automotive announced this week that its P7-C has received official certification from the California Air Resource Board this week, meaning that it can now attract customers more than $100,000 in federal and state purchase incentives. Automotive News Europe reported this week that Renault is working hard on a new battery recycling program for EVs that would make it the first European company to carry out industrial-scale EV battery recycling. Given how long it's been making EVs, it will have plenty of packs to recycle. BYD has just published its 2023 annual profit report, and while it still experienced year-on-year growth in terms of profit, its profits this year were smaller than analysts predicted, demonstrating a slowing down in its growth as its market share edges ever higher. Ford has announced a new partnership in Europe with charging network Allegro that will see it dramatically increase fast charging provision at dealerships across the region. Allegro's stations are capable of outputting up to 400 kilowatts DC fast charge power. Genesis has unveiled two different concept vehicles this week that hint at future models of the brand. The NIO ET9 and GV60 Magma concepts were officially debuted at the Genesis House New York ahead of their official auto debut show, this weekend's Auto Show in New York. Toyota has been dragging its feet on electric vehicles for a very long time, but this week we learned that an all-electric Toyota Hilux pickup is coming by the end of next year. This is particularly exciting since there's not really any Hilux-sized EV pickups in any markets yet. BMW's North American battery production partner, AESC, has announced it will be investing $1.5 billion in expanding its existing production facility in South Carolina. The facility provides batteries for BMW's Mexico assembly operations. Australia has officially introduced its first emissions rules to Parliament this week. One of only a handful of large nations without tailpipe emissions rules to date, it's promised that the rules will cut emissions in half by 2029. Sadly, though, it will classify some larger SUVs as commercial vehicles, thus making them exempt from emissions requirements. In a job posting on LinkedIn this week, a Tesla employee seems to suggest that Tesla is looking to establish its own dedicated private wireless data network for in-vehicle 5G connectivity and data access for Tesla's upcoming Optimus robot. Following on from previous hints dropped by Ford executives, Ford CFO John Lawler seemed to drop hints at the Bank of America summit this week that Ford is looking at building a new electric SUV with the interior space of an Explorer but the external dimensions of an Escape. Daimler Trucks North America, working alongside Greenlane, announced plans to build a new truck EV charging corridor between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. It would help dramatically drop the carbon footprint of goods travelling inland from the port of Los Angeles. UK electric motorcycle company Mavic, which has been eyeing a US market debut for more than a year, has now confirmed that it's launched its US market availability. Its low-speed RM1 and more powerful RM1S motorcycles, which both have an air of cafe racer about them, are on display at 2 locations in Los Angeles. The Jaguar I-Pace has yet again been recalled over concerns of a potential battery fire. This time, owners of 2019 I-Paces in the US are being asked to not charge their cars beyond 75% full and to park outside, away from buildings. If you're looking to lease a new car in the US, there's now a very clear winner for those who are well qualified: the 2024 Hyundai IONIQ 6. Thanks to incredible lease deals and low interest rates, it's now the most affordable lease available in the US at $239 per month. While we've met plenty of people eager to get hold of the long-promised Volkswagen ID California camper, reporting from Autocar this week claims that Volkswagen executives are getting cold feet about the idea. It claims the added weight of the camper setup could make the vehicle an impractical vehicle to build and use. Iveco Trucks announced this week it's going to rock school this summer, building a range of battery and natural gas vehicles to give to Metallica for its European leg of its M72 World Tour. Maybe we should take their hand and head to Never Tailpipe Land. Ample, working alongside ENEOS, has launched its first battery swap station in Kyoto, Japan. The swap station will offer battery swap services to multiple fleet customers within the city, including taxi firms, banking and insurance companies, and municipal fleets. QuantumScape has confirmed that it's delivered the second batch of its Alpha 2 cells of engineering validation solid-state battery cells to OEM customers this week. It's the latest major milestone as the firm edges towards becoming a volume solid-state battery company. Following on from the market launch of the XPeng P7 in Norway 3 years ago, XPeng has officially launched both the P7 and G9 in Germany. A market that's particularly competitive, XPeng hopes it can gain traction in the marketplace that's in the backyard of Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Volkswagen. SK On has announced a new partnership with Ferrari that will see it supply the hypercar brand with power-dense lithium-ion battery packs for future vehicles. Initially, those cells will be used in future hybrid and plug-in hybrid Ferraris, with an electric Ferrari still a long way off. Polestar has announced a new charging service in Europe called Polestar Charge. Working in collaboration with Plugsurfing, the new charging product gives Polestar owners access to 650,000 charging stations throughout Europe, some of which will offer discounted rates. Electronics manufacturer Xiaomi has officially priced its first electric car for sale in China. Called the SU7, it can now be ordered by customers in the PRC for just under 216,000 yuan, making it cheaper than the Chinese market Tesla Model 3. Scania has officially expanded its electric truck range in Europe with 2 new variants and a new 6x4 bogie axle configuration for improved traction. According to the firm, its 29-ton truck can now travel up to 520 kilometres per charge. Green Power Park, the UK's new self-appointed centre of electrification and clean energy, has celebrated the launch of its West Midlands Gigafactory. The facility will be capable of producing up to 60 gigawatt-hours of automotive-grade lithium-ion battery cells at full capacity. The devastating bridge collapse that occurred in Baltimore, Maryland this week when a cargo ship struck it is already making itself felt to local residents. Now, auto industry shipping experts warn that the port's temporary closure could temporarily impact EV imports from overseas. Canoo has confirmed that it's pulled a Tesla by taking advantage of the closure of a rival automotive production facility to purchase heavily discounted equipment for use in its own. The company in question, a rival, whose recent bankruptcy put a lot of assembly equipment on the used market for heavy discounts. Airline company British Airways has pledged to overhaul its ground vehicle fleet at Heathrow Airport, UK, with the goal of reducing its ground airside emissions. It aims to transition everything from step vehicles to luggage tugs and buses to electric and hybrid operation. Livewire has announced a new version of its S2 motorcycle, called the S2 Mulholland. It's being marketed as an electric performance cruiser and is priced accordingly. It's available in sale in the US and Canada, and it will start from just shy of $16,000 in the US. A new survey from JD Power into home charging is showing that, for the most part, owners of EVs are becoming more satisfied with their home charging options. Despite some hiccups along the way, it's interesting to note that as EVs edge towards mainstream, owners are more often than not picking automaker-branded charging stations from their car's respective automaker. Chinese automaker Geely, owner of Volvo, Polestar, Zeekr, Lotus and many others, has demonstrated an engineering prototype drifting around a winter course this week. But rather than being driven by a human, the car was driving itself with a level of competence only pro drivers could match. And finally, for the shorts, BorgWarner has announced a new partnership that will see it provide 960 kilowatt fast charging stations to Chinese truck firm Windrose EV Trucks to facilitate long-distance fast charging fleet services for Chinese property company the Goodman Group. But that big rig looks strangely familiar. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first a quick word from one of today's video sponsors, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That's exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card, because it's committed to investing 100% in clean, equitable and sustainable progress. With a 3.5% savings rate and a mobile app, your finances and the climate can go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees and there are no minimums keeping you awake at night, and it offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. By joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier earth. And every sign-up supports this channel so we can keep bringing you the content you love. I'm a customer and I love knowing that I'm helping saving money while also making sure my savings don't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. And now it's time for those last two stories. Over the past few weeks, we've seen Tesla open up its supercharger network in North America to non-Tesla customers using approved NACS to CCS adapters to charge. Currently, Ford and Rivian owners have access to US Tesla superchargers that aren't already fitted with Magic Docks, but over the coming weeks and months, more automakers are expected to follow suit. As we recently explained, however, not all Tesla superchargers are open to non-Tesla customers, with V2 superchargers all incapable of supplying CCS-capable cars, and not all Tesla sites with V3 and newer superchargers open because of demand. This week, however, we did learn just how many of Tesla's 25,000 supercharger stalls are open to non-Tesla customers in the US, and the figure's pretty impressive. According to Ronan Patel, VP of Public Policy and Business Development at Tesla, around 16,000 Tesla supercharger stalls are currently non-Tesla friendly, and that number will only get larger. That is a, frankly, massive increase in available EV charging for non-Tesla owners. And finally, while some automakers have been backtracking on past promises made about EV production, and others appear to be looking towards replacing their EV commitments with plug-in hybrids, Volvo seems to be staying true to an all-electric future. This week, it took another step towards ending the production of internal combustion engines for good, with its last diesel-powered vehicle, a Volvo XC90, rolling off the production line for the last time. That vehicle is, apparently, off to Volvo's World of Volvo Museum in Gothenburg, where it will stand witness to a smellier, dirtier past for generations to come. Sadly, though, while Volvo is committed to going all-electric and plans on ending internal combustion engine production completely very soon, its namesake commercial sibling, as Electric noted this week, is still producing sizable volumes of suck, squeeze, bang, blow for some time to come. Granted, they are different companies, but I think we're all eager to see diesel give its last death rattle so we can move to a cleaner, greener future. And on that note, we are in fact done for today. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. Find out more by heading to electricauto.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make the step towards energy self-sufficiency through solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following the link below. As usual, we would love it if you'd consider supporting us from $1 a month on Patreon, or about $10.08 per year. The overwhelming majority of our income comes from Patreon, and it's thanks to you that I'm able to pay the team and make sure everyone has healthcare. If you'd like to help support the channel, follow the links below. You can book myself or Kate for a personal one-on-one consulting session, a full-blown presentation to your community group, or in fact, consulting for your company. And don't forget to visit our swag store for our new design for April, Growing Your Own EV Charging, in honour of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. It, along with the rest of our merch, is there for your TE swag needs. And of course, we'll be back next week as usual, with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Just a reminder, if you're in a group currently feeling the full force brunt of hate at the hands of legislators and people who do not want you to exist, remember, you are not alone. You are valid, you are loved, and as I always say, you're freaking awesome because you're watching this show. So until next time, stay safe regardless of your identity or whom you love. Be an amazing ally, be kind, register to vote, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.